connecting. Here we go.
Hey everyone.
Technology works. Love it.
It is indeed. How are you guys?
I'm good, man. How are you? You look beautiful.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. It's always lovely to speak to you.
You do. You look well rested. You look well rested.
You know, trying to do my best at my age. But anyway, I guess it's the difference between having kids and not having kids.
Yeah. I look tired. You look well rested.
I rescue animals, and you have children. It's the same thing.
Yeah. I have to rescue them every day from animal type adventures.
Well, obviously, like yourself, we've been in contact right at the beginning when, for us, lockdown started here on March 13th, so Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Was my last day at work, and obviously we had our 6 months anniversary with that. Having passed September 13th.
Yeah.
And it is just quite incredible how time has now become this new thing. We are all still stressed, but we're stressed for different reasons. I feel like a lot of the rushing around obviously has stopped because work for us, especially in the LA market, the Hollywood market, has been very much reduced because no movies and there's not many red carpets even happening right now. So the industry is just very slow right now. And then obviously the same thing is also reflected with each state having different opening protocols. So not just for salons. We're talking about huge shopping malls. That is obviously the home of most businesses. The shopping malls are actually closed, so it's still very restricted on what's open. I believe it's a lot more restricted than, for instance, it is in Germany. But again, because the United States are so humongous, it's a lot easier from a government point of view to control one country, one nation versus, because it is just the sheer size. It is just a challenge.
Well, here in the UK, it's all just getting really messy again because numbers are going up, and now they're having different lockdowns in different areas, different rules, different restrictions in different areas, and that's probably what it's been like the whole time in America, isn't it? It's all. But the press that we've had over here has, especially California, a lot of the people I follow are based in California. And they've been speaking about like heavy restrictions. It's really affected businesses.
Oh, massive. It's probably some of the most, if not the most, strictest restrictions on opening, etc. So most salons only were allowed to reopen, I believe, September 2nd, but under very heavy with indoor activity. Meanwhile, we obviously had, 38 degrees outside temperature. So a lot of the salons try to do pop-up tents outside and then be able to serve one client or one or two clients in the shade of that. And then you're basically sitting in the baking sun of California.
I was about to tell everyone, you're one of my oldest mentors. And I flukily...
I'm an old fart, thank you. I'm your oldest mentor, appreciate it.
No, but I flukily got like an in on an agency, and you were like probably the top hairdresser in that agency at the time. And then they kept giving me like these amazing assistant jobs with you. And for me, that would always stick with me because that kickstarted my career. I think you were one of the first people I actually assisted on like big major campaigns, and you taught me a lot about carpet hair, like red carpet hair, but also carpet hair, like those campaign pictures where it's just all
oh my god,
it's all hair.
We have done a lot of work together. I've also gone through my own memory bank last night, and there were like all the shows we did for London Fashion Week together with the Wella Fashion Week team. That was super exciting, but all of those things
super slick, all models, super slick, straight, blunt edge. I remember it. It was an exquisite show. Yeah. Beautiful hair. Yeah. Hard to do. Anybody thinks that straight hair is easy. You try and do it to 20 different people and make it all look the same.
Who potentially just came from another show.
In under 2 hours.
More texture to look.
But that's what I love. I always love the shows though. I love that. fabulous manicness, but
Yeah,
I got too old for it. I got too old for it. But
well, it's gone away currently. I just did. I was just super lucky to be involved in a virtual fashion runway video process.
wow,
So it's a brand called Spider, which is mainly known, I think, in Europe as a ski wear brand, but in Korea it's an actual full-on fashion brand, and they host fashion shows live on the actual runways in Milan, usually every day, every year,
yeah,
or every season. So I was part of this creative process where they got this incredible image specialist called Carlos and his partner called Monica, and we created this 5-minute long video of basically catwalk which never ends. I posted that to Monday.
is that on
So
your
it's
grid?
this,
I want to look at that. I didn't see it. Is it on your grid?
yeah. It's a really rad video. It's insane how they managed to morph all of these different elements of catwalk and movement together. But this is the thing. Now we're talking about virtual catwalk shows. We are
Yeah,
having virtual conversations, which is kind of beautiful because we're connecting more, but simultaneously we're connecting less with our closest ones, and I think that's
yeah.
the part.
I love this. Like, I've loved the whole thing ever since you started it. Even the name, the kind cut, it's amazing. It's such a beautiful thing, a great concept. And I was just telling people yesterday on the live introducing you, you're like one of the kindest hairdressers, but the kindest person I've come across. And it's really beautiful thing what you've done. I do a little bit of Christmas. I was telling you I go to do homeless people at Christmas, but actually started this amazing campaign that you've done in LA. How long has it been going into? 3 years.
So the idea was literally born the night of the election. So it was obviously being a green card holder in the United States. I have all the duties to pay, tax, etc. But you don't have any voting rights. So you have no control over what happens in the election night or leading up to it. So therefore, you're participating, but you're not. You're in this kind of passenger seat position, kind of strapped in. So as I couldn't vote, and I've followed, obviously the announcement of Brexit happened about 4 months prior to that, or 6 months prior to that. So I've gone mentally through that already. I actually set up the entire, so the Brexit news happened, and I was going to bed and looked at Facebook and basically seen it, and then got up and just, oh my God. Because obviously being in London, or having been in London for 17 years, I still do business in the UK, and London was my life for a long time.
Yeah.
So the night of the election, I decided not to participate in the warring because there's nothing I could do. So I ended up going into we have like a little office studio space, and then just drawing out ideas what else I could do with me being a hairdresser. At that point, I was a hairdresser for over 25 years. So it was like, okay, something's going to change, and I think that's the part where I'm coming to again now. It was a situation that I couldn't get involved in or control. So I wanted to do something that was positive, because I could foresee the amount of negativity and the stream of warring the next day happened, which it was. I mean, people turned up at the morning of Brexit. People had really no idea what happened, and it was this kind of like, oh my God, people are in tears, people are worried. The same thing happened here with the last election. Trump got in, and people were distraught how it could happen. So that was the part where the kind cut was started. I then tried to do it in a more organized way with charities and existing foster homes, etc.
Can I just interrupt? For those that don't know, the kind cut is it's a cutting campaign for homeless people, right?
So the kind cut is basically an organization that I started, but it's for everyone. So everyone can get involved as much as they want or not. I host, or I organize, or connect with other charities, and we create events, or we do it on our own, where we provide free haircuts for the homeless community, which obviously in California, or especially in LA, is somewhat high, and I forecast that it will be even higher in the near future.
Yeah.
So I, for the first time, moved into a neighborhood that I called my home, because I've been so transient all my life. I never really connected to any particular city or any particular place where I lived. and now we moved in our place with my wife, or we got married and then we moved into our home. And basically I got to realize what happens around my neighborhood. And it started off by me bringing pizza and leftover food from production, which there was excess of. And then the idea of giving back haircuts. And that's how it started. You will have noticed that my contribution to social media over the last 6 months hasn't been as frequent. Because there was nothing. The point was, I feel like when you're talking about your work, that's one thing, because it's become your portfolio essentially.
Yeah.
People look at it immediately and decide if they want to book you or not. So that's one thing. It used to be it used to be portfolio. Now it's then it used to be a website that you used to have to represent yourself as a
an iPad
artist. Now the social media also shows your life around it, and people make a decision. Oh, he seems like a fun guy, or she seems like a nice girl, or whatever it is. Let's book her. She does a great job. Tick, that's a good one. But I think over the last 6 months, there was little I felt I could contribute, and there was so much fear mongering going on, and there was so many news that were skewed, especially here in the United States with all the protests, the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, the list is endless, and it's part, which is where whatever I post to it needs to somewhat feel positive, because if I just vent on Instagram, it just allows even more, and the social dilemma comes into Ruby Hammer saying it's a double-edged sword. Exactly, and that's what it is. The thing is, when you watch the social dilemma, you do get to understand that it was never invented that way, or was it?
Yeah.
but it's now, because it took such a huge scope. We are now very much controlled by it.
But somebody always told me once that nothing is evil in the world. Nobody sets out to do something with bad intention. So like they develop something because it's good, but actually it's like but the side effect of it is actually is distressing to society. I think the social aspects. The World Wide Web was this amazing thing that connected everybody. As we're using it now, it's great. Social media is connecting us, but also it can suck you in as well, and it can really draw you in and like get you looking at that all day and judging yourself. And it's the emotional aspect of it, is because they've developed things to tweak your emotional responses. That's the bit I don't like about it, because like you're trying to goad people, make them feel sad, and then or make them feel happy, or do actually, we've got to just try and have a moment to just share experiences, rather than be hooked on the scroll down and get a new feed, or the red alert that's going to give me something good. It's likened to like the Vegas effect, isn't it? Like it's kind of like it gives you that little buzz of like when something comes new, like, oh, what's on the feed now? I'm going to look at it. And I just think you just have to be really aware of that stuff as well, and it's difficult because at Croz, we're trying to push social media, curated content for salons and stuff. It's such an important part for the success of the reopening and businesses.
Yep.
But you have to be mindful of what you're doing as well, and authentic and honest as well.
Yeah. There was one thing that when I jumping back to the very early beginning stages of the Kind Cut, when I basically went into my studio and started literally taking little post-it notes and just writing thoughts and ideas down. And one part of it was making social media more social.
Yeah.
Because social media, from my understanding, is there to be social with each other. But in the moment, there's a lot of the opposite happening, where none of that social aspect is actually coming. So I guess the DNA of the idea of the Kind Cut was to create this platform that any hairdresser can essentially join.
Yeah.
Can make it their own. I wanted to inspire people to do their own version, and if that's literally just someone handing out a sandwich, it's not necessarily a haircut. It can be you're walking down the street and you have a bottle of water and you're like, there you go, my friend. But the media aspect of this, I think, let's make social media more social again.